Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Lane Warsh from the Department of Chemistry at the University of Illinois Springfield, and welcome to our Summer 2020 Organic Chemistry 1 course. During this introduction video, I'm going to go through Canvas and how to find the different parts of the class. I will talk through the syllabus. I will show you examples of LibreText, talk about the collaborative assignments that we're going to use, show you how Mechanisms works. That's an app. That was the one thing that you'll have to buy for this class. Since I use LibreText, which is a free open educational resource, online textbook. Talk with you a little bit about the quizzes and practice problems that are available in the course. A little bit about exams as well and what the exams might look like for this online class. And then at the end, I'll set you up to get started on watching the video on mindset and metacognition. So welcome to Organic Chemistry Summer. I look forward to working with each one of you. I'm excited for this chance to teach this class online. Actually, just a little note, I originally planned to teach this class online back in November, thinking that it might make it easier for certain students if they didn't need to take the lab in the summer, that they could still get the course online without having to be able to have to come to campus. Now with the new issues where we're doing the entire lab online this summer, that's not such a big deal because no one has to come to campus to take the course. But anyway, so this is already in the works, and I'm excited for trying to see how I can help you best learn this summer organic chemistry. Even if you're a continuing student from UIS, Canvas is going to be new to you. This is the first semester that we're going to be using it. If you're taking more than one class this summer, it's possible that some of your classes could still even be using Blackboard. So I wanted to walk you through our course in Canvas just to get you familiar with how the course is going to be set up, since it will be different. So when you come into Canvas, you should see this dashboard similar to mine. And so our class is 20 Summer Organic Chemistry 1. So I haven't published the course yet, so some of this stuff, I guess by the time you enter the class, it will be published. So, but right now it's not. So if I come into my class, there's some really important pieces to see. So I'm just gonna kind of show you each of them. We won't go through them in super detail right now. First, near the top here is the syllabus. I will actually go through the entire syllabus with you in a couple minutes. But first, there's a syllabus, it's ready. If there's any announcements, I don't have any announcements right now. The main portion of the class really is in this modules section. This modules section has things broken down by chapter. It has reading assignments, quizzes, practice problems. There are a lot of video practice problems that I've made or I've had students make in the past, and those are all here. So this is really sort of the center for a lot of things for your class. Discussions right now. What I have, reading and lecture, video, questions and answers I have. So if you're going through lecture material and you have a question that comes up, there's a place where you can post them, and either other students can answer or I can answer, and we can work together to get our answers that way. Another important section is the assignments section. The assignment section, this shows you all of the different assignments that there are for class. And again, they're separated by types a bit. So there are things like the reading assignments are all here. The online collaborative assignments are here. The mechanism assignments are here. So all of these things you can find in this section. Quizzes is another section that's important. And right now, for example, the chapter 1 quiz is here. The preparing to learn organic chemistry quiz is here. I actually haven't posted these midterm and final exam questions, but the other important piece are all of the practice. They call them practice quizzes. I just call them practice problems. And they're already here for every chapter of the whole book that we're going through for this semester. So if you look at that, the number of problems differs by chapter based on just what was available, what I could find. So some of them had huge amounts of practice problems and other ones have less. And you certainly don't have to go through every one of these, but this is just another place to give you practice working through some organic chemistry stuff. And then if you want to see the outcomes for the course, these are the learning outcomes. Every chapter has learning outcomes for what you're supposed to be able to do by the end of working through that chapter. And what's so valuable about this is that um, if you look at these, for example, be able to draw organic molecules, preferably skeletal structures from IUPAC names. It tells you exactly what I'm expecting you to know how to do from each chapter. So when you go to a chapter quiz or you get to a midterm or whatever, you shouldn't have any surprises about what you need to know how to do to be successful in those things. If you can do each of the things that are in the outcomes, you should be successful in everything that we're doing in our course. And then the other feature that I really love that I found on here is the calendar. And if you look at the calendar, for example, here I'll shift to June, it shows you every day what your different assignments are. So it's a really easy way to see, and these are when assignments are due, to see day by day, what am I supposed to be doing? Is there anything that I've missed? Here are the things that I should be working on. So that's a quick look at Canvas. If people are having questions about Canvas, I'm happy to do another video and explain in more detail or help you one-on-one, wanting to help you guys get a good feel for how it's going to work. All right, let's talk through the syllabus now a little bit. So, so Organic Chemistry 1, the lecture portion is worth 3 credit hours. If you're taking the lab, that's a separate grade for the Organic Chemistry lab course, Chemistry 268. And that's all going to be online this summer. And that will be with Dr. Andrews. My office is HSB 313. I put some office hours on here, but I'm happy to meet with you at different times. If you want to talk about stuff, I'm happy to work with your schedule depending on what you guys have going on, each of you. You can read through the course description, the course objectives, the learning outcomes. So these are our broad learning outcomes. There's still quite a few of them, but if you go into Canvas, you'll see the learning outcomes for every single chapter. The prerequisite for this course is having taken 1 year of general chemistry at the college level. So our course is Chemistry 142 at UIS. Academic integrity policy. So yeah, that's a really serious issue. If people are cheating, I've had to be involved in hearings before for students. So we don't want to do any of that. We just want to work to the best of our ability, because really what you take with you out of this class isn't a grade. What you take with you is what you learn. And that's where the value is in all the money that you're paying for a college education. If you need academic accommodations, work with the Office of Disability Services so that they can help you. I'm not allowed to change things for individual students without their approval. Weather shouldn't affect our course at all, unless, of course, it causes huge power outages. We've got library resources. The library is a great resource for you. Our textbook, and I will show you that as we talk through these different things during this welcome, is LibreText Organic Chemistry 1, which is designed specifically by me for our class. So I will show you how that works, and all of the readings and videos are all housed there. If you look at what we're going to be doing, so with an online class, the whole lecture is online, and I think that Organic Chemistry 1 has somewhere around 79 videos, video lectures that are broken up and ready for you to view. You can view them all. They're all available at any time. So, and they're just interspersed within the chapters in the sections that you'll be reading in the LibreText. So really that's where you're going to get all the lecture material that you would normally have gotten if you go to a class where somebody sits and lectures at you. Now I've been teaching my in-person classes flipped for several years now. So that's the way that all of my students get the lecture, is from those videos. Then we will work on some collaborative assignments. So each one of you will get assigned 1 to 2 partners, and I will have a survey up. I probably already have it up, that you can tell me what your favorite work time is, when you would most want to work with other people. And I will try to assign partners that have similar work schedules or have similar times that they would prefer to work on it. These are going to be really helpful assignments. All of my research is in chemistry education. And so a lot of the research that I do actually is on collaborative assignments. And for example, during fall semester, my students get a partner from Canada and they work on assignments together. Yours will be a little bit different because you're going to get a partner that's in our same class. But I know that this collaborative work is really valuable in helping students grow in their learning. And so that's why I'm giving you collaborative assignments for the summer. If you were in my in-person class, you would be sitting and working with people next to you repeatedly during class. So that's why I want to keep some of that idea where we can work with other people. Then there's an app, and I will model the app and show you how that works as well, called Mechanisms, that we're going to use this summer. And that app costs $9.99. And I know that the students used that while they were online this spring, and feedback from the instructor that's teaching that class said that the students said I would be happy to pay $9.99 for that app because it was really helped me to understand how different mechanisms work. And so since there is no textbook cost, the textbook for my course used to be about $370. So I made that zero by using LibreText. So this is really the only cost for the course. And it works best on some kind of a tablet device, although it is available as a web app too, and you can use it that way. But the touch screen makes a difference and is useful for that. Our course code is here, so after you get the app, you can put in our course code, and your assignments will show up within the app. All right, so important success strategies. Yeah, first of all, watching the lecture videos. What I try to do is I try to take the text that you're going to read in the LibreText and try to kind of cull it down to give what I think are some of the most important parts of it and try to explain those things, or the most complicated parts of it. That will be a really important piece of trying to understand what I want you to know and what I want you to be able to do in this course. And then reading is great. I mean, the reading is so helpful. And that's part of why I have things set up the way they do. There's a video, there's reading, there's another video perhaps, or there's reading first, then a video. They really are designed to work together because there are ways that I explain things that will be different than the way that the LibreText explains things. There will be way better images that they will have than that I will draw in my videos. So the two should work together very well. The next thing is about working problems. So in organic chemistry, really the whole focus of the course is to be able to do problem solving. And so reading and watching videos should give you the background, but that's not the important piece. The important piece is applying that then to solving problems. And that's why I'm happy that there's so many practice problems that you guys already have set up in Canvas, as well as the mechanism practice problems, as well as the online collaborative practice problems. There's a lot of chance for you to work through and get feedback to yourself on how well you understand what's going on. And then there are also practice quizzes in each chapter in Canvas. There are practice quizzes that you can try, and then there will be chapter quizzes. So all of that should be giving you feedback to help you understand things. The idea that organic chemistry is cumulative is absolutely true. If you take Organic Chemistry 2, the final exam of Organic Chemistry 2, you will need topics that you'll learn in the first 5 chapters of Organic Chemistry 1 to make sense of things that are happening in Organic Chemistry 2. So it's really important for this sort of course. There isn't any chance for you to skip a chapter and then not worry about that and say, well, I just won't get that one chapter. And especially the first 6 chapters are really the foundation of all of organic chemistry. And so these are the things that we're going to use and the tools that we're going to use throughout the whole year of organic chemistry. There's a video that I have posted that talks about mindset. So I will leave the mindset talk for that. But mindset is really important in coming into this class, which is why I have that video as part of the first assignment. This piece about rereading the text, reading the text is super valuable. Rereading the text to study for an exam may not be a useful strategy at all. Really, the useful thing to be doing is practice solving problems and then trying to recall the information without looking at your notes. Since this whole class is online, that's going to be really important for you. If you're working on a problem, if you don't know how to start at all, then you need to look up something to figure out how to start. But if you solve every problem with some kind of similar solution or answers open, or another kind of problem that you're just sort of copying how you do it, you can get an illusion of knowing that makes you think that you understand what's going on, when actually maybe you don't actually understand how to solve the problem. Spacing out practice rather than cramming is really valuable for learning and retaining material. And then quizzing and testing helps you calibrate your own learning. Anytime that you're taking a quiz, whether it's a practice quiz or an actual quiz, how you do on that should be giving you feedback as to how well you understand the material. So you need to pay attention to those things, because that's the value in having multiple things that you engage in like that can really let you know, wow, I don't think I really understand this, or yeah, I do have a really good handle on this. So quizzes, there's going to be a quiz for each chapter. I've set it up so that each quiz you can take 2 times, so that if the first time you take it, you're not getting all the problems correct, you can kind of pay attention to what are the problems that I understand and what are the things I don't understand, go back and review the things that you don't understand well enough, and then have a chance to take the quiz again. The highest grade of the 2 attempts will be counted, and then also the 2 lowest quiz grades across the whole summer semester will be dropped as well. So exams, there's a midterm exam and a final exam. The midterm exam is going to be 100 points. I'm playing with what the format is going to look like. It's going to have a mixture of questions. So some of them will be online questions that'll be like multiple choice, true, false, whatever, those types of questions that you can do. And then there will be a couple of mechanisms problems assigned for the midterm exam, maybe as many as 6 or 7 that you can work on and submit. And then I also am going to have you record a video explanation of you solving a problem, explain how you go through solving it. And just to let you know, before it comes to the midterm exam, I'm going to have you do a practice one of those video explanations to make sure you have a feel for how it works and submit those. I think I'll probably do it as part of one of the earlier quizzes, but it might just be a standalone assignment as well. And then the final exam may look just like the midterm if all the different sections of the midterm seem like they're successful and working well. If there are issues with how some of the midterm works, then I may change up some things for the final exam to try to alleviate any issues or modify things as need be. All right, next up I have the LibreText. So I just kind of want to walk you through how the LibreText works so that you can see what we're using for our textbook. So we're in here, UIS CHE 267, Organic Chemistry 1. So if I click on that, and then chapters, this shows what we're working on. And I can just start the first chapter, chapter 1, structure and bonding. All right, so here's the first chapter. Here are what the different sections are for it. So if I go to the periodic table, I have a series of things here. So this shows you how the videos are integrated. And for example, if I hit play here, then the video will play right in place. Then you can scroll down and it's got some text about nuclear atom, all about the periodic table. Here's a second video in this one. And again, you can just click on the videos and watch in place. Some more things about atomic orbitals. This is a great example of how you can see the pictures that you're going to see in here are much better than what I'm going to be able to draw in a video that I'm describing things. So that's part of why it's really valuable to use both items. All right, so and that section, if I want to go to the next section, it's at the bottom as well, so I can just keep going. Here's the next section. Again, there's a video right in the middle of it. Sometimes they're at the beginning, sometimes they're at the end. There are some example problems in here for you to try out as you're going through. So that you can get a chance to see if you understand things. And then there are some exercises as well that you can try at different points in here to see if you understand the different concepts, as well as the problems that are in Canvas already. So that's pretty much how LibreText works. If you have questions about that, let me know. All right, online collaborative assignments. So a little bit about online collaborative assignments, and I will probably do little introductions to different assignments as they come up. But the idea here is that it's important for you to have worked through the questions in advance before you meet with your partner. That's going to be the typical way that most of you should work. If you and your partner really love to spend a lot of time online together, you can work through them together at the same time. However, the intention here is that you've worked through them ahead of time, so you've already seen everything. And then you can kind of talk through things more with each other and just kind of work out the differences. It will be much, much faster that way versus if you decide to work through the whole thing together. But if you find that as a really valuable learning tool to you, I want to leave it available to you to do things the way that works best for your partnership. And so the idea here is that you have different things. Like here, you've got some structures that you'll have to name. We'll learn how to do this before we get there. We'll draw some Newman projections. We'll look at stereochemistry. So the idea is that you've kind of got an idea of these ahead of time. And if there's one you just don't know how to do, of course, you can try to look things up in LibreText to try and figure it out, trying to watch the videos to figure it out. But you can also, of course, work with your partner on trying to understand things. And especially important is if you've worked through them all in advance, you can begin by just checking, like, do we have the same answers for things? If you don't, that's the chance for you to really get together and talk about, okay, who's got something wrong? Let's try and figure out, maybe we both have it wrong, but try to figure out what we're doing with this. So I think this is going to be a really valuable tool for you guys for learning. All right, so this is just going to show you a little bit of how the Mechanisms app is going to work. So I'm just showing you the web version because that's easier than trying to set it up with my iPad and record it. But normally I would do this on my iPad. So if we look at substitution elimination reactions, you'll get a different mechanism to take a look at. And what you'll end up doing is you grab pairs of electrons and you draw different changes in what's happening. I actually contributed to the one of the first versions of making this software. And so I am pretty familiar with how it works already, but there's some practice things that will help show you how to work with it. There's a bunch of different puzzles in here, and they're all really designed to help you understand the kinds of mechanisms that we're going to be learning during class. So things will be assigned in the app as the same topics come up in class. Okay, so when it comes to quizzes, the quizzes will be primarily online, mostly multiple choice, so there can be other question types as well, but there'll be a lot of multiple choice types of questions. And really, these are just supposed to be simple kind of questions to help you address, do I understand the different parts of material? I use question banks on all of my quizzes online so that you shouldn't be getting the same questions repeatedly. So if you take it twice, it's not a situation where you can just try to write down what all of the correct answers are and come back to get the answers correct, because getting the answers correct is not the most important part of any of the quizzes. The most important part of the quizzes is understanding whether or not you know the material. And that's why quizzes should be thought of as formative feedback. It's forming your understanding of material. That's the way that I view the quizzes. So really the value in it is helping it be a marker for you to understand where you're at so far and how much more studying you need to do in the area, how you need to focus that studying so that you're not wasting time spending a lot of time on something that you already understand. So you'll see that when you get to the quizzes. So hopefully when you repeat the quiz, your second quiz should have all new questions from the first quiz. And I pulled up an example. These are practice problems. So this is for chapter 1. So basically you can go through and say how many pi bonds are represented in the following compound. And you can see there's one pi bond here and there's one there. So the correct answer should be 2. Then you keep going through how many sigma bonds. And I have the practice one set up that you can see all the questions at once rather than seeing them one at a time, so that you can try as many of them as you want to. You can try 3 or 4 if you want, and then submit and be all the way done. And say, okay, I'm going to submit my quiz. And don't worry about that. It says that I have 103 unanswered questions. And it tells me right away, once I submit it, the ones that I did, whether I got them correct or not. So, you can do that as many times as you want with the practice quizzes. If you want to do, 3 or 4 problems and then submit and then start over again and get your feedback, or even if you just have one problem that you're really unsure about and want to do that, you can do that as many times as you want to. Okay, and so for the midterm exam, there are going to be a few different pieces of it. When I post the exams, and there will be posted at the beginning of the semester, so you already know what day they will be. The exam's available for a 24-hour period, so you have an entire day to figure out when the best time is for you to work on the exam. That's so that you can work around work schedules or other schedules that you might have to decide when you want to work on it. There are going to be 3 parts to the exam. One will be the problems on Canvas that might be multiple choice, short answer, or other things like that. For that section, there will be a time limit for you from the time that you start working on that and open up the questions until that it needs to be submitted. That's the one piece that has a specific time limit on it. In addition to that, the other 2 pieces will be working on the mechanism problems, and so you can do those at any point during that 24-hour period. The exam problems will open up on that day and they will close at the end of that day. I have them set on a timer so that they will be available the entire day of the exam. So those you can work on at any time during the exam. And then there will be the other questions that will be posted online that day as well for what the problems are for you to work on and video record. And so when you're making the video, there are several different ways people can do it. Again, if you have a tablet, you could use an app like Explain Everything as a great app to be able to draw and narrate. But it's also just fine just to draw on paper and use your phone and just record that. If you want to draw it out in advance and then just use your phone to talk through, show your paper and talk through how you solved that problem, that's fine too. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can try and do it, depending on what's most comfortable for you. And again, all of the questions that I'll have for the midterm that are going to be online will come from question banks, so that you and your other people taking the exam won't have the same questions. And that's just to encourage each person to do their own work. And a lot of my colleagues that were forced to switch to teaching online in the spring had a lot of issues with students trying to find ways to post questions and get answers from other people for their material, which feels sad because, really this is the opportunity for you to learn. What I think that you're paying for to take this course is an opportunity to learn organic chemistry. Trying to avoid learning organic chemistry seems like a bad choice that's not going to be helping you in your future. Because really what I want for each one of you is I want you to find something that you love to do and be highly successful at it. Learning how to learn this complicated stuff that we're going to do this summer is going to be really valuable for you, whether you're working in chemistry at all, or if you're working in a really different field. There's excellent logic that goes into how to solve these kind of problems, and the kind of problem solving styles that you use in organic chemistry can be applied to other fields. So anyway, that's a little bit about how we're going to do the midterm and the final. So the next thing for you to do is to go and watch the video that I made on mindset and metacognition to help you think about how to be successful, not just in organic chemistry, but in every class.